Let's see if we can get lucky and get this to work with all this stuff in front of me. So I gotta turn that, which you can't see is down there. I turn that little switch so it's pointing on that second choice up from the bottom right. See if I can leave that about like that. Okay, so is that spinning or not? Let's see. Oh, it's up on this 24 setting and nothing works up there. So I think it only works on the 18. So that may be part of my problem with the sound. And now when I turn it there, you can see it's grabbing it. So I've got to get this ready to go in. And then I got to kind of be Johnny on the spot with it. So it's got to go in that way, down that way. And then it should come out back there in a second. Hopefully. Yes. Okay. So now it's pulling that around. And I'm going to hit stop. Because I've got to get... Is that thing showing over here? No, let me turn this a little. Alright, so it went down in there like it was supposed to and across and up. And I've got to get this part to tuck in on this reel. Come on. I'll get my big fat finger in there. Where's that pencil at? Come here, you. Get out of there. Thank you. You're in the way. Okay. So, down in there we go. I think it's tucked in like it's supposed to be. Let's see if it'll move right. Yeah. So now, we turn it one more click, and it shows what's going on. Turn that down a hair. Okay. So,
we're going to give you a few basic instructions in this shop. Any volunteers? They're for free. You don't even have to pay for them.
that,
Nobody wants to.
I think that's my mom teaching disco dancing. Obviously, it's some sort of park. Let me turn this down a little. Some sort of park back in the day. There's people, it looks like, playing volleyball back there, and they're up on some form of stage. Oh, I'm blocking it a little there. But yeah, Mom taught disco several places, and even in what became my eventual high school, she taught in the cafeteria, the Bob Jones High School, at the end of the 70s. And I was in her disco class, and of course got to dance with, and you know, I may have been the only male in the whole class. Alright, so they got a volunteer. Hey, it sounds a little better there. It actually sounded like her. Alright. Disco fantastic. Alright, they're going at it. Oh, we have a lift and a spin. Woohoo! That's some pretty good spinning on part of that dude. If he falls right now, that's gonna hurt. Mom's got an older fella there with her. Looks like she's trying to take it easy on him. There we go. A couple of pros going at it. There you go. And that would be the reason why. Is that what's up there? I think that's a pool tournament. But yeah, she's got some disco trophy somewhere. And they jumped off the stage. Okay, here's my little brother at a park. Little buddy. So this is almost guaranteed to be Madison, Alabama, back in the mid to late 70s. That's probably like 78, maybe. You see that old truck and that old car there and another park in the background. Probably the same park, probably the same day. Oh, and that's it. That's it for that tape. So, it comes off of that reel, goes through the machine. Let me tell it to stop. And then once you've got your whole tape over here, it has this setting for getting it to wind back up onto that, which I could not use on the last one because, like I said, I had a tape break. Oh, and what I ended up doing was winding it up on that pencil, like I said, and then I just went ahead and wrapped that around it and just kind of covering it up with the same tape down in there so I know that's what's supposed to be in that box. So let's see. And I haven't found a power button on this thing yet. Let me give you a little show around the rest of it. So fortunately, it just uses a standard, computer style. Oh, and let's get there's your part number, what have you. But that part, it shows it right there too. Look at how interesting that is. It could be set up for 240, 220, 200, 125, 117, 110, or 100 volts. Talk about how they used to make stuff multi-purpose and cool back in the day. Now, I don't know how you would adjust that because there's nothing out here. So that may be something you have to actually open it up to adjust. And I am not doing that because this thing still works. So, and I've had a thought that, I could most likely, and I'll do better recordings when it's dark out, when I'll do some tonight. But what I could do is record these and then just take it into a video editor, separate the audio and the video, and then speed the audio up to the proper speed, and then put them back together. Because I have tried it before on a couple of other bits. Where are they? And it isn't the homemade stuff that's doing it, because I've got these old professional movies and they do it too. There's a Robin Hood and all of these, they play a little too slowly. Pierre Bear, Gabby's Diner, which, looks a lot like, it's Woody Woodpecker. And then this one, I think, is a silent one. It's The Invisible Man. And then we have another Woody Woodpecker, Round Trip to Mars. So those are probably as old as I am, and they might even be a few years older than me. And I've got a slew of stuff from my aunt here. Those are all, or almost all. There's a couple old CDs in there, but those are all old slides. And I've got a bunch of different, little movies she made, and then in here, I've got a ton of those old slides and a bunch of old letters. And I think like almost all of these are, well, that one's one of the latest ones I've seen. Okay, so that was just some lawyers or accountants or something. And what's this one? That's also in the 60s. There's some attorneys, something for my great aunt. And let's see, that's something from the 50s for my great aunt, from the Department of Vital Statistics for her. And let's see, what did we have here? More attorney stuff. Sheesh. Okay, but I know there's a bunch of letters in here. Let's get through some of that junk. Man, she had something going on with those guys. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? 67. Someone from Tennessee sent my great aunt a letter. Oh, look at that. Airmail. Also from Tennessee, from some insurance company. How cool is that? Okay, we got a county court clerk from Dayton, Tennessee, and I have relatives from Dayton, Tennessee. We went up there when we were kids to a family reunion, and there was a whole bunch of people up there I'd never met before. And Mom let me do told me to grab the, what do you call it? The atlas, back in the day when maps were, on paper. And I was just a kid. I wasn't even driving yet. And we got turned around a little bit. And she said, Rusty, find us the way to get to Dayton. So I looked on the map and I found us, how to get to Dayton. And I did not know the symbol for a ferry. And so we ended up crossing a body of water up in Tennessee on a ferry in our car. And Mom, she never let me live that down. We'd be traveling together years later. And we were even going up the Pacific Coast Highway for part of her bucket list in 2019, right before COVID started, right at the end of the year. And we were going around, and I mean, all you have to do is, get on the road down there in San Diego and just stay on the one all the way up. And that's what we did, except for when we got to Los Angeles. And she was kidding me after that. She's like, "Now, Rusty, don't choose any ferries, And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." What is this? Oh, that's just whatever the lawyers wanted. Who cares? Who cares? Let's see. Let me turn. What do we got? Somebody named Good or Bood, probably a Good. That's from the 65. So you can see the old stamps there. That one just has airmail written in hand. 66. 66. And the old, looks like George Washington there. And more of the attorneys. Let's see, some fire and casualty company. 66. I thought there were some in here that were older. Oh, they are. They're back here. I'm looking at the wrong stack. Here we go. This is all, I think all these long ones, except for right here on the back is an old typed letter. Dear Geraldine and Bud. So that would have been written to my great aunt and my grandfather when they were both still living in Decatur. So this letter would have been written before Mildred. Okay, so this would have been written before my grandfather and my grandmother were ever married. And let's see, what's this last one? Some casualties come. Okay, so all those long ones they're just attorneys and insurance companies and stuff like that, except that one letter. Now this, let's see, 66. From somebody again up there in Knoxville, Tennessee. What do we got here? Medical Arts Building. Where's that? Oh. Okay, so sorry about flipping that there. Just some old pics. Bandstand, Alamo Plaza. Yep. Municipal Auditorium. Sunken Garden, Breckenridge Park. Houston Street. So some old, advertisement, collectible flyer. What was that last one there? Almost damn near San Antonio. And then there's a bunch on the backside too. Okay. Oh, we see we got an old, hey, Jerry. Yeah, they used to call my Aunt Geraldine. They called her Jerry. But me and the kids, one of us couldn't say it right. And so we always called her Aunt Gerding, like Gerding instead of Geraldine. And but she was pretty prolific. Oh, see, that postmark's 1941. And you got the Statue of Liberty up there. 1 cent postage for a postcard way back then. And let's see, what else do we got here? Oh, well, wait a minute, sorry. And the other side of the postcard is Avalon Bay, Santa Catalina, California. Nighttime on the Isle of Romance. It's kind of pretty. Avalon Bay, a thrilling scene of bustling activity by day, a fairyland by night. Like a jewel in an exquisite setting, the view of Avalon at night from the hills above, a never-to-be-forgotten sight. Hello, Jerry. I at last got a trip to Catalina after all these years of living in California. It's just as I imagined it, too. Love, Dixie. That's cool. Yeah, my aunt was a prolific letter writer. Dear Jerry... Another 1 cent one. Oh, this one's from 1935. Back when they used to stamp by hand pretty much every piece of mail. These days, if you want to get a stamp on something, usually it's just because you're trying to prove you put it in the mail in time, Pleasure Yachting, North Beach, Maryland. What does this one say? Now, don't you wish you were me? I'm at the beach for a week and having a swell time. And have I got a nice sunburn? We'll write you a letter soon. And what does that say? Ruth. My other great aunt was Ruth. So that's her sister writing her. And let's see what this one is. Dear Ruth and Geraldine. That's also 1935. Oh no, Ruth M is someone that's not my. Okay, so my Aunt Ruth and my Aunt Geraldine had a friend named Ruth. Is what we're looking at. Here's hoping you have a happy Easter. I have a week's vacation, so I know I'll enjoy myself. That's funny. It tells you this space for writing messages. This space for address only. Came with instructions. And what does this say? B.S. Reynolds Company. So these were printed in the Washington, D.C., I guess, or at least that's where the company is. And then, cherry blossoms. Yep. Used to have cherry blossom in my yard. They're really pretty. They make it look like pink snow. All right, so these are all upside down. So let's just take a look and see real quick where some of them were from. Let's see. We've got Honolulu and Marianne Carey, maybe? Marianne Cam. Hope y'all like this picture. Aloha. Caw, maybe K-A-U, Marianne Caw. And we didn't get there's no postage on this one. Oh, she must have mailed it in a letter to her. Let's see, what do we got here? This is just another postcard that wasn't used. With some folks in the old-fashioned style bathing outfits. Look at that poor guy on the right. He looks pretty miserable. Okay. 1937. Still 1 cent postage stamp. Who's that? Franklin. Okay. Let's see, what does this say? In Chattanooga. It'd take me a minute to read that. That was written pretty quickly. Vista from Incline Lookout Mountain, Chattanooga, Tennessee. I guess they have, or maybe they still do, a rail car you could go up to. And that looks like a streetcar with the old power lines above it. I read somewhere once that there used to be streetcars in many cities around America, and a push by Standard Oil got rid of them because you don't want your potential customers using electricity when they can be burning oil. Battle of Atlanta, Cyclorama Building, Atlanta, Georgia. Yep. $1939. Shows the fighting at the Hurt House. Confederates of Manigault's brigade have captured the federal position together with the Digress battery and are attempting to hold the same against the counter-assaults of federal troops. And George Washington, 1 cent stamp. Let's see what we've got here. We've got Custis Lee Mansion in Arlington, Virginia. And that was another one of those industry agriculture ones. And that's from 1942, so this is during the war. Worked till 1 a.m. Sorry to hear about Aunt J. Sent a card to Uncle C. Hope you see. All's gone back and go forward. All right, so I'm going to get rested up. Hope to hear. Let's hear from you again soon. And this is from their friend Ruth again. 1430 Fairmount Street, Northwest. Okay. Lake Purdy, 12 miles east of Birmingham, Alabama. And that postmark is June 25th, 4 p.m., 1943. And it's postmarked Washington, D.C. Isn't that interesting? So she must have taken some postcards with her and then just mailed them from there. Oh, look, buy war savings bonds and stamps. Washington, D.C. postmark, sure enough. It actually has multiple postmarks on the same one. Oh, and double on the buy war bonds. Trains, repairs, will write soon. Okay. All right, let's see now. United States Capitol by night. Oh, that's pretty. I've been there a couple of times. Okay, this one is 1942. One of those stamps again. Fairmount Street again. Met the train last night, but S wasn't on it. Thought I'd hear something today, but didn't. Don't think I'll go to station tonight. If she comes, she can call me. So she's waiting for somebody, trying to meet him up there. Let's see. So, like I said, there's a stack of these here. Let's see what else we got here. We got some more postcards. The White Flyer, City of South Haven. That one wasn't even used up. This one doesn't have postage or a mark on it, but it was addressed. Well, somebody's getting sent to somebody in Chicago. And it was from somebody named Ewer's house address. Funny. Okay, this one was mailed. Oh, that's 1928. Still unsent. It's to my Aunt Geraldine. Dear Geraldine, a beautiful city. Boston is framed and the after may attach. With love, Miss Somebody D. Darcy? August 22nd, 1928. The West Boston Bridge bridging the Charles River. Let's get a good look at that. Okay, very cool. Let's see what else we got down here. We've got Pan American Union, Washington, D.C., and that one's from 1942, so that was through the war. Mail early for Christmas. How cool is that? Visited the old Ford Theater today. I've been in there. Me and my little brother went there together. And when you see that place, you understand why John Wilkes Booth broke his leg. Let's see. What building do they show? They show the Pan American. But when you see where the theater was, where Lincoln was shot, you understand why John Wilkes Booth broke his leg. It must be 20 feet from the balcony seating where the president was sitting down onto the stage. The guy was a fool for jumping down the way he did, but then again, he just shot the president, so his life was pretty much forfeit for sure, you know. Heck, the innocent doctor that didn't even know why the man broke his leg, Dr. Mudd, that's where the saying his name is Mudd came from. Because Dr. Mudd, he was vilified basically the rest of his life, if I remember correctly. Okay, so that appears to be 1941. And look, it even shows Los Angeles, 10:30 a.m. Another George Washington. Yep, look in the opposite direction on that one. Yep, see, they're calling her Jerry instead of Geraldine. Send it to her in Decatur. That's her friend Dixie. Hotel Ritz, Flower Street at 8th, Los Angeles, California, from $2 per day with a bath. Now, what a bargain, you know? The Hotel Ritz. Well. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Largest convention hall and theater in the world, Atlantic City. It does look more like a place you'd have a rodeo, you know? I mean, it is pretty big for a convention hall and theater. That's in 1941, and that's from Shirley Turner. Dear Jerry, I'm on my vacation here in Atlantic City. Sure is swell up here. Wish you could be here too. How about writing an article for the next Inquirer? I'd appreciate it a lot, sincerely. P.S. Write me in D.C. Another one of those stamps. Looks like my aunt made a note, maybe answered August 31st. And this was sent August 6th. Okay. And my aunt was, I don't know what she did when she was young. Maybe I'll find out in all this stuff. But when she was older, she worked for NASA. And she was a civilian. But she had some sort of uniform with all sorts of ribbons and stuff on it. And somewhere I've got multiple pictures of her receiving awards from generals. I mean, you can tell by all of the, the hardware on the uniform of the gentlemen that were giving her awards. They were generals. So I don't know what she did, but it was important enough that folks liked her. May 26, 1941. This one is from... Dear Jerry, received your postal. Sure glad to hear from you. That's okay about writing. I know you're busy. Sure hope you can publish your paper soon. That will be swell. TTI will be mailed through the mailing bureau. Shirley. May 26, 1941. So, I don't know what her paper was that she was doing. Let's see. Buffalo Bill and Sitting Bull. 1941. Let's see what we got here. Sunset on Lake Michigan. 41. Auditorium, Democratic National Convention, 1928, Houston, Texas. And this is from 1941. Defense Saving Bonds and Stamps. Buy Defense Saving Bonds and Stamps. And this one is from Ethel Cook and sent to Jerry Farr. Do you think you could ever forgive me? I actually hope you can, because I miss your letters. If you'll send a card letting me know it's safe to write, I'll tell you all about our condition. Vacation? All about our... Maybe that's vacation, I don't know. It was swell. I'm a working girl now. Posey. Let's see. Joey and Boy and How Town Flies. How do you like these antiquated postcards? Dr. Davis, my boss, found them in some old files of his. Well, I'm just bubbling with things to write, but the space is small, so goodbye now, Ethel Cook. I wonder if she ever forgave her. Oh, I guess so. Or, yeah, she might have wrote her a discard back, because that says answered August 31st of 41. 3019 Broadway, Houston, Texas. What is this little note up here? Did I remember your address correctly? Well, Route 2, Box 200, Decatur, Alabama. She did. Now, who would that note be for if the address was wrong? Makes you wonder if she ever forgave her, but knowing Maya Geraldine, she was pretty sweet. She probably did. That's South Bend from August 18 of 41. Looky there. Let's see. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. I'm going to wrap this up. It's about a half an hour of this stuff. Shakespearean Library in D.C. This is another one from back in the 30s, August 1st of 1935. Buy U.S. savings bonds. Ask your postmaster. The Farrs. Court Square Fountain, Columbian Mutual Tower in distance, Memphis, Tennessee. Something in Memphis. Hope Dad is feeling much better this AM. As who knows? Another one from 35. New Orleans, America's most interesting city. M. Barnett, Office, St. Louis. Old Slave Block, New Orleans, Louisiana. Yep, not our country's finest town, that's for certain. Okay, let's see. That one was just blank. What else we got in here? I think we got some old letters towards this part, yeah. So that's a letter from 66, from whoever she corresponded with regularly in Knoxville. And what have we got here? Big coat of color prints, only 32 cents a piece. What is this? Southern Bell and Telegraph Company, $24.27, back January 21st, 1944. Man, that sounds expensive. Local service and equipment, $197. Total service and telegrams, $262. Balance from last bill, $3.41. Total amount due, $24.27. So I wonder if that $21.65 is just to start service. But $24 for a phone bill, 1944, sounds pretty darn expensive, actually. Let's see what we got here. Oh, looks like we got another one. Let's see what this. Let's see. Yeah, see, I think that was just to start the service, because that looks like $1.88, February 21st of 1944. So local service, $1.88. So that other one, that's got to be for the first month of service. You probably had to pay for the phone up front. So it wasn't cheap back then. $20. That was a lot of money back then. Okay, but $1.88, that don't sound too bad for a phone service for a month. This looks like just more phone bills, maybe. Let's see. Yep. Huh. Well, there's another $22.63 in there. So is that another phone bill? So this one's for Elizabeth Farr. And that one's Elizabeth Farr. So I think that's my great-great-grandma, I think. On my mom's dad's side. What is this stuff? More telephone bills. A little bit different format. Handwritten. And tax schedules. Let's see what's on the back side of this. If I can get it to open up. Come on. Oh, there was two separate ones, that's why. Explanation of stuff. Place called. Oh, so this is like from a telegraph service or something. Interesting. Okay. Let's see, what else did we have in this little pile down here? Postcard, part of a ripped up check. 1921. 2 cents for a letter back in 21. Somebody in Albany, Alabama. A.D. Miss A.D. Farr. Yeah, my grandfather on my mom's dad's side, my great-grandfather, he was Arthur as well. And his middle name was Delbert. And if my mom had known that when I was born, my name would have been Delbert, she told me years later, because she liked that name. From Plant City, Florida, 1922. And they just put the return address. They don't really say who it's from. I always put, my name up there. Okay, and that one's going to Albany, Alabama. Oh, we got an old newspaper clipping here. What do we got? The watered lilies, or only an earthen vessel. It doesn't attribute who that's to. Based on the front of this, that's probably why it was saved, was the thing on the back. Crippled boy dependent could support himself if he had an artificial limb. Ben Ravel is unable to aid his son, lives in South Knoxville. Captain of Olympic denies he sent report. And Maryville College leads in contests. Okay. But yeah, that was probably saved because this is the thing that's this old poem here. And I will spare y'all a dramatic reading of that. Let's see what else we have. Elizabeth Easterly. Now that is a great grandmother on my mom's dad's side of mine. What is it? What is this? Our school year is now closing. We are soon to say goodbye to schoolmates and teachers and to Old Spring City High. We have met as one large family within these 4 square walls, but soon instead of tramping feet, they'll be silenced in the halls. Vacation days are welcome. We hail them with merry glee after 9 long months of study. We are glad at last to be free. We have passed another milestone on the rugged road of knowledge. We hope soon to pass another on which is written college. When we have entered the business world, having wandered far from this place, may we ever remember with pleasure the names of Hoyle, Snodgrass, Train, Kinder, and Chase. That's pretty cool. Now, what's really cool about this is this was typed on an old-fashioned typewriter, and there were, and you can see right there, it looks like an 8 was hit instead of a capital O. So I don't really know what's up with that. Maybe she hit 2 keys at once or something, but there's no autocorrect in this. You make a mistake, it's on the paper. That's the way it works. You have to do it all over again. So pretty cool. You did used to have this whiteout stuff, but I don't know when they invented that. And you could totally see that stuff on the page whenever somebody used whiteout. But it was pretty common because, and that was accepted as a professional letter. I mean, if it was something super important or for a memory or something, you wouldn't accept whiteout on it. But if it was just general business correspondence, you just put a little whiteout on it, type right back over that part. His last message. Okay. Old handwritten thing. A baby and some dolls and stuffed animals. Looks like a little stuffed mouse sitting on top of a dog, maybe. A doll back there in the corner and a real baby in the middle. What have we got here? Evansville High School in Evansville, Tennessee. Professor Chase, Spring City, Tennessee. Oh, and this looks like maybe, let's see here. I took this out of that envelope. Yep, report card. So the 8th grade in 1914 for a great-grandma of mine. How'd she do? 98, 96, 91, 95, 96, 97. 94 for agriculture. Well, straight A's. Way to go, great-grandma. Let's see. 80 to 90 is excellent. That's very good. Okay. Well, she got all 90s. That's cool. And it looks like some other, let's see, what is this? Elizabeth Easter, so fall term. Ooh, she got a 68 in spelling and some 80s, but then by winter and spring, she was up in the 90s. Wonder if she's working in the fields or something. 96, all 90s, mostly down there. Okay, so this one was first year, session 1914-15. Interesting. So it's almost like maybe this was an early part of the report card, and then this is August, so this is the end. So fall, it's about the same time frame. I don't know, almost seems like it came from the same time frame, but for some reason, I don't know. Maybe she brought those grades up to all 90s by the end. They were mostly all 90s, but she had that 168 up there in the fall term. Interesting. Okay. So let me put that back in there. Oh, there's one more little thing in that envelope. What is that? Oh, 2 little things. Merry Christmas. Don't lose your temper if you stick your finger. And what is this thing? Tell exactly what this is. Not for something. Okay. So that's pretty cool stuff. All right, what else do we got down here? Some piece of a check. Okay, we got another piece of newspaper. Couple finds new home under retiree program. First in program. Ray D. Hall escorts Samuel and Marie Robertson away from their new home at 300 East Donaldson Street in Lee Hills. The Robinsons are the first couple to take advantage of a new program of the Morristown Board of Realtors and the Morristown Home Builders Association designed to interest retirees in settling in Morristown. The Robertsons are from Madison, Alabama. Staff photo by Gary Smith. Morristown Area Chamber of Commerce symbol right there. Okay. Let's see what we got down here. Oh, this is a different kind of paper. I can get it to open up. There we go. Let's see. Somebody from Troy, New York named Chris Hansen. Dear Geraldine, I'm taking the liberty of writing you even though you don't know me. However, your sister Ruth and I are old friends. In October, I spent a few days in Washington and saw your sister. She did a good job of showing me some of the sights in and around Washington. So I guess you and I both had the same guide, as Ruth told me you had been there a short time before, and she had taken you around Washington. It seems now that we are old friends, that is you and I, because Ruth showed me the pictures she had taken of you in color, you in a yellow bathing suit on the seashore, and also the pictures she had taken of you down at your home. They came out very good, and I like the different poses. While talking to Ruth, she mentioned you would like a correspondent in Africa. I have one in Durban, Africa. So I wrote my friend over there and asked her if she would like to correspond with you, or if she didn't have the time, perhaps she would know someone who would. Her name and address is as follows. Olive Wilton, 596 Ridge Road, Durban, South Africa. So if or when you receive a letter from her, you will know how Olive received your name. If she writes or someone else does, I hope the friendship will prove very interesting and helpful to you both. We'll be interested in knowing how things turn out. Sincerely, Chris Hansen. People did some kind of neat stuff with that back then. That was their social media, though, doing the letters thing. Okay. Plaza Fountain showing U.S. Capitol and U.S. Senate Office Building, Washington, D.C. 1942. Middle of the war. Let's see here. Pennsylvania Avenue from the Treasury Building. And we're back into some more postcards here. Postcards. And I think that's the whole kit and caboodle. What's that one? Oh, that one's an unused postcard. Postcards all the way down to the end. Greetings from South Bend, Indiana, 1941. Oh. It's from Ruth to my great-grandfather. Hello, Daddy. This is really the day here. The American Legion convention. I went up the streets a while, had 1.25 hour here, called Aunt Minnie and talked to her a few minutes on the way to Boston Harbor in 15 minutes. Ruth. She sent it to her dad, and you can see the buy defense savings, the war bond stuff. All right, and one last postcard here. What do we got? Skyscrapers in New York City, the Empire State Building, the RCA Building in Rockefeller Center, and the Chrysler Building. Man, they used to build them big. That's from 1942, and that's to my Aunt Geraldine. Love, Ivy. I'm on vacation now, having a wonderful time. going to Boston too. Haven't seen Ruth for a long time. When are you coming to Washington? And I've got a bunch of pictures over the years of obviously my aunt being in Washington, D.C. Those are those phone bills. Well, I guess that's about it for this old box of memorabilia. Oh, wait a minute. Before I go, let me show you just a couple of things in here. So these are pretty cool. Let me just grab one out. These are, that looks to be upside down. These are, negatives. So I could have these printed, and obviously some form of military vehicle. And you can see soldiers, it looks like, with all their hats and stuff on. So, and there's just a box full of those. And it's a bunch of different stuff. Some of it was nature stuffs. Some of it was some form of military parade. There's a kitty cat in a chair, all kinds of stuff. So I thought those were pretty cool because they're so big, I mean, those things are, I'll give you an idea. That's the box they're in, if I can close it. And then there's my ham hock of a hand over it. So those are some pretty big negatives right there. And then there are some just old-fashioned, I'm not going to pull them out, but let me pop the top here. Some old-fashioned negatives down in there as well. And this one last box is worth popping up. I'll put that lid back on after. Is just full of old-time photos. Old cars, babies, people, all different sorts of scenes down in here. I mean, just a slew of them. Yep, that's probably during the war. See the Navy guys. But just a ton of those. And then there's a couple over here. Some old pictures. Yep, some old statue. Is that Lincoln? No, I don't think so. Who is that? Let's see if it says. Can't tell, but I believe that, I think that's my Aunt Geraldine. Her and Ruth favored quite a bit, but I think that's Aunt Geraldine. Let's see. Yeah, that's her. Oh, and here we have one in color, it looks like. Yep, Aunt Geraldine back in the day. Let's see, what do we got here? Well, she traveled extensively all over the country, and I think internationally. A couple old fellers. Let's see here. Stanley, Chaz, and Sexton and Son. Don't know. Check out the hats. Oh, look. He got a chain for an old pocket watch. That's cool. And then let's see, we got two last ones, and these are pretty darn old. Who knows when this thing was taken? That's definitely a back in the day photo. Nothing to identify it though. Don't know who any of those folks are. And then same thing with this one. Somebody's toddler. Look at that chair. Look at that slick down hair. Some old wicker chair. All right, I'm going to shut up. It's been about an hour, but thanks for sticking around for some old walking through old-timey stuff. And I am going to run this thing tonight and try and get a few more home videos and see if they come in a little better. And then I'll probably try and mess with the audio some. Oh, and that thing's been off this whole time, but this is actually the cover. And you don't have to take the cover off to use this thing. I just hadn't done it in so long. Because you can take your film, feed it right in there, hold this down once it's in there until it pops out this side. And you wrap it around that, and then it plays. And of course, to do that, you just turn this bad boy right there to get it started. And then you can see that it gives you the little play and sound symbol. So after you get it moving and you get it wrapped up in here like it's supposed to, Turn it like that and it plays. And then I think this thing, that's for rewinding it directly from here to here. But I think you can also rewind on that and it will actually show because, it's got the little play symbol again. But that's it for now. Bye, folks.